Thanks for saying yes to being a discussion host on Practicing the Way. This is such an important part of the whole experience. We were really intentional when we chose the title discussion host, like instead of something like small group leader. And there's nothing wrong with that title. It's true. You are a leader and it's a small group. But we didn't want you to feel like you had to be an expert on spiritual formation or anything like that to be a great discussion host. Your job, at its core, is to love and to listen, to host a space where people can share freely, process openly, and discover more about their relationship to Jesus. In this session, I want to take a few minutes to offer 4 things you can do to strengthen the small group discussion. First, contextualize. Because each group is unique, you'll have the chance to contextualize the questions and the conversation to where people in your group are at. Don't let the questions we provide constrain you. In order to help you host your small group discussion, we provided a series of questions in the companion guide to set you up well for each break. But those questions should be viewed as a guide, not a detailed map. Like one way to see them is like it's a diving board that you can use to jump into conversations with. Things like age, maturity in faith, cultural background, and many other factors impact how people experience and process the material. So feel free and tons of permission to contextualize the conversation to your specific group. Second, guard the conversation. Healthy conversations need someone to protect them from the wrong kinds of distractions. Because the Christian faith is so expansive and touches every aspect of life and culture, conversations can easily detour to just about any topic. In some cases, those detours can be great, but often you'll need to kindly guide the convo back to the themes and ideas we're here to explore. As the discussion host, you get to protect the group from unhelpful detours like political or theological debate. There's a place for those kind of conversations, but it's not the goal of the Practicing the Way course or the practices. One of the best ways to guard the conversation is by setting the stage each week, expressing what the goal is. You can begin each week by saying something like this: our goal as a group is to create a space where everyone can process their experience with the practices and discuss the ideas from the film. Our goal is to create a loving environment where people feel heard and respected. We've gathered together to deepen our apprenticeship to Jesus, and so let's use this space to serve one another towards that goal. And if we return to that goal throughout the whole experience, it can help guard the conversation from the wrong kinds of detours. The third thing you can do is take the conversation deeper. As you guide the conversation, you'll have the opportunity to take it into deeper places. To do this, though, we have to get over our own fear of silence or the odd, awkward moment. I have found that some of the most beautiful things that will happen in your small group are on the other side of some awkwardness and silence. In moments like that, hold the space. Instead of anxiously trying to move the conversation along, pause, breathe again. Give people room to reflect. Then after some time, you can thoughtfully invite people in by asking another question. For many people, they'll only share after there are moments of silence and room to reflect. I like to pay close attention to those who have meaningful things to contribute, but might be slower to jump into the conversation. And then you can kindly invite them in by asking them what they think. We don't recommend putting people on the spot, but over time, you'll know who would be comfortable and ready to share if you were to ask them. And as we take a sincere interest in the lives of those who are in our small groups, the right questions will naturally emerge that can take the conversations into deeper waters. The Holy Spirit will help you as well. And as you listen prayerfully, the Lord will guide you as you lead these meaningful conversations. I realize that some of this can feel intimidating. And I wish, if we were in person, I could just take that weight off your shoulders. I want you to know that if you keep your focus on listening well and loving well, you're going to do great. And along the way, if at times it feels challenging or exhausting, we want you to know that you're making such a worthwhile investment. And just like the practices we're exploring with Practicing the Way, as we practice listening and hosting discussion, we'll find our own capacity to do it will grow over time. In the next sessions, we will unpack a few more best practices that will set you up even more to be a great discussion host.